Well, good evening, folks. This is Andrew Cummings coming at you today from Brazil, São Luís, Brazil, with another Missionary Monday live. I don't have too much earth shaking. I've got a couple different things that have been going on, and so some quick updates. Another a couple stories of stuff that's happened and so on. So maybe today won't be as long as normal. Again, you never know. Once I get going, I get going. So, let's start off with a couple cool things that happened. Some of you may know that a few years ago I took up saxophone. I've been playing it and trying to get better at it. And when I came back to Brazil, I was told about a program. Instrument program here in São Luís that's run by SESC, which is an organization, and they offer free lessons and opportunity to play with groups and even an orchestra and so on. So I went and yeah, sure, come on, join us. So I did, and it's been really tremendous. The saxophone instructor plays for the military band, and it's just a great experience. And so. And I've been working hard, and my goal has always been to play with group. And a couple of weeks ago, he said, "Andrew, I think you're ready. You can. We have a performance coming up. We're going to play a Brazilian song by a Brazilian composer called Pixinguinha, and we're going to play this song with just the saxophone section. It's going to be like a sax. What do you call it? There's 7 of us, so a septet, I guess you'd call it. And so that's what we did, and we practiced for a couple weeks, and then I was able to play. And so I'm going to put here in the comments section, as soon as I can find the comments section, put a link for the video. You can watch that. It goes a little slower than I thought it would, than I thought it should, but we were all extremely nervous up there. It was a lot of fun, just a lot of fun. And it's an open door that I've been given to be able to have contacts with some people that I wouldn't normally have contacts with, and so I'm I'm excited about that. I'm not seeing, for some reason, it's not opening up my video page, so I'm going to I'm sorry. I'm gonna when that does open up, I'll put that link under there. So that was a fun thing that happened. Yesterday, was an outstanding day at church. Very busy. The whole morning I spent in preparations. We have our church business meeting on the second Sunday of every month, and so that was Sunday. We don't have Sunday school. We have the church business meeting. We had a lot of stuff, not too many decisions to make, but a lot of stuff that we brought before the congregation so that they could be praying for it for a month, so that when we have our next month's business meeting, which is also our annual meeting, then we can get together and talk about that. Some organizational changes, some different people taking on different posts within the church and so on. All kinds of, not the stuff you think about when you think of missionaries slashing through the underbrush in their pith helmets and with their machetes. We don't necessarily think of business meetings, but there's a lot of business meetings. So it was neat. And then afterwards, and this is really cool, about a week ago, the guy who leads our ministry, our praise and worship team, came up and said, "Andrew, I'd like to meet with Pastor Andrew. I'd like to meet with the praise and worship team to talk about some changes that I have that I'd like to work out for 2018." And then he sent me a whole list, and it was just super exciting to see this kid just really taking initiative and saying, "Okay, we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna do this. We can do better." And so we did. So last night after the service, after the business meeting, after the service, then we went out to pizza with the kids and with the members of the praise team, and our associate pastor Francivaldo was there, and we sat down with them and said, "Okay, what changes do you guys want to make?" And that was really good. Some really good stuff coming down the line. I'm very excited. Music has not been something that I've emphasized in our church plant, and I could. I have a certain knowledge of music, but I've been emphasizing discipleship, biblical training, and biblical preaching. That's what I've been emphasizing in our church plant, evangelism, and so on. And so I haven't emphasized music. And I've always told people, if we get our theology right and if we get our practice right, the music is going to follow. And so it's exciting to see that happen now. The music is following. And of course, I'm there to help out in any way I can. And it's also exciting to see that people in the church take ownership of the things in the church. Now, if you want to be praying, I've mentioned this, I think, before, but there's one huge area where in our church plant we need them to be taking ownership, and that is in the financial area. And I think maybe the last couple months I may be seeing some progress in that area, but we have a long ways to go. So if you want a huge prayer request for our church plant, for the Ebenezer church plant, it's this, that the people of the church would take financial responsibility for the church. That's basically what's keeping the church from being organized. The church pretty much handles the day-to-day operations of a church on its own, but they need to have the financial stability where they can call a national pastor and pay that national pastor. And so I would ask that you would pray for that. And I believe within our congregation, we have the resources to do that. It's just a case of the people in the congregation being faithful in their giving. So, and I'm trying, that's going to be a huge emphasis for us this year, 2018 and 2019. So just be in prayer for that. We could really, really use your prayers. That's one of the biggest, I guess, if you were to ask, what's the big challenge you have? That's it, is encouraging the people and motivating our people somehow to take financial responsibility for the church. And there's reasons and legitimate reasons why this isn't happening. Brazil is in the middle of a crisis, in the middle of a financial crisis. I was talking yesterday, one other thing we did last night is between church and Sunday school, we met with a bricklayer to get a estimate for the work that we need to have done on our church building, on the pastoral apartment that we're putting in up on top. And so he was there giving us that estimate, and when he gave me the estimate, his estimate's rather high, and so we're going to try to negotiate down with that. However, he said, Pastor, he said, you got to understand, money's not easy for anybody, and that's an expression I hear a lot. O dinheiro não tá fácil. Money's not easy. Money's never easy. However, sometimes it's more difficult than others, and right now Brazil's in a financial crisis, and money is more difficult to come by. And so I understand that, and our church is struggling. People, this affects everyone in our church as well as it affects the bricklayer outside the church and so on. So your prayers for that and for God's financial blessing in our church so it would be able to organize and so on are greatly appreciated. With the financial crisis, of course, and I've talked about this before, crime is going up, and I had an experience, and this is very interesting. Several months ago, back in July, we did our moving. And the guy that I had do our moving, he's actually a guy I've had him a couple times move. He's related to a guy in our church. He has a van, and that's what he does. He's a mover. And so you call him up and say, I need to have my furniture moved from my old house to my new house, and I need to have it. To have a group of people to help me, and so he'll round up the guys and he'll come and bring furniture and so on. And so he does a real good job, and he's very conscientious about what he does, and he just really works hard. And he's been working hard for a long time to get a new van. He got a new van. Then let's see, a couple days ago, what day was it? Saturday morning. Got doing my Bible study. I had some things to print out for our deacons meeting that night. So I went by the printer's office to have this stuff printed out, and when I walked in, there was the mover, and he was in line, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he looked at me. Usually you say, "Hey, how's it going? Como vai? Como estão as coisas? How are things?" And people, tá tudo bem, tá maravilha, everything's fine, it's wonderful. But he just kind of hesitated. I said, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "No, man." He said, "My truck, it got stolen." I said, "What? Your truck got stolen?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I answered a call to go move some things." So I went, and it was a setup. And the guys got in with me in the van, and then they pulled a gun. He's telling the story. They pulled a gun on me, and then they drove my van to the corner, to the side of the road, and by a field, and they yanked him out of the van, and they tied him up, and with his arms stretched out and his feet tied together, and they took off with his van. And they had in fact, when he told me, he showed me his arms, and his arms were all black and blue from where he yanked on the ropes and finally been able to free himself and walk to where he could finally find someone to call. They took his cell phone, all this kind of stuff. And I'm listening to him tell this story, and it's just like, this is horrible. This is, the guy's worked and worked and worked. He's a hard worker. He's an honest worker. I was talking to people afterward. Oh, yeah, I know that guy. He did this for me. He's, conscientious. He helps people. Not a believer as far as I know, but just, a solid citizen. Working his way honestly to make his way in life. And the security of our nation is so bad that the bandits can just come and take him away. And as far as I know, they still have his truck. So, he's telling me this, and my heart's just, what am I, and so he was there to print out pictures of his truck. He had full color pictures of his truck that he was printing out, that he was going to then distribute. And so people, keeping, have you seen this truck? Have you seen this truck? And so he was right in front of me in line, and so the guy's printing out his things, and I told the owner of the print shop there, I said, hey, just put his bill along with mine. It was less than $2, so but just at least one less expense, so I have a little more money to spend on other things. But just pray for the guy, and his name, he goes by the name of Duca, D-U-C-A, Duca, and pray that maybe even I'll have some more contact with him, and it just, it's a horrible situation. And the thing is, this kind of thing is written over, this kind of story is written over and over and over again in the middle of this financial crisis, and in the social crisis that's worse than the financial crisis that Brazil is in right now. This kind of thing is very commonplace. Also pray for our protection. One of the things we did the last couple of weeks is put iron or aluminum grates on our windows, and I hate having grates on our windows. I hate having to look out through bars. I've got a beautiful palm tree in our front yard, but to see it, I've got to look out through bars. It's like I'm in jail in my own house. But it's a necessity here because of the situation we live in. So just be praying for that. And I don't mean to come off as complaining. I love living where I live, and I love doing what I do, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else or do anything else. So don't misunderstand me. But with what I do, which is what I love to do, there are certain risks and certain chances we take. So just be praying for us in this context, myself and my family, along those lines. Also, let me. I lost my train of thought. I had at least one more thing here. Oh yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I started talking about there was a church, an evangelical church here in Brazil, that decided they would take up an offering to help to build a candomblé worship center. Candomblé is the syncretistic Afro-Brazilian religion here, and it's basically demon worship. That's what it is. They're just worshiping spiritual entities that I have no doubt that they're real. And they're the kind of thing that Christians are supposed to have nothing to do with, and all of that we should know from Sunday school. But this church thought it'd be an idea to express solidarity with the Afro-Brazilian community. They were going to build this temple for the Afro-Brazilian religions. Completely addle-brained idea. Just addle-brained. There's a good word for it. That's your word for the day. Addle-brained. When I was growing up, the word stupid was not supposed to be in our vocabulary when I was growing up as a kid, and so my brothers and I we found a thesaurus, and we looked up stupid, and one of the synonyms for stupid was addle-brained, and so that became you are so addle-brained, and it was great in our household. Well, this was addle-brained. It was just completely there's mush up here, theologically speaking. And so I thought that would be the end of it then. And then the next week I discovered that there had been a special service there, ecumenical service, and Kleber Lucas, who's a popular Brazilian singer here, I didn't know, he wasn't really on my radar, but I'm talking to the young people. Oh yeah, Pastor, he's big time here in Christian circles. His album says "By Faith." That's the title of his most recent album, and he's faith in what I'm not sure, because he's there at this candomblé session. This and everybody's kind of holding hands, and we're all together. We're all in this together is the message, and I'm here. No. And then I thought, well, I'm going to put this subject to rest there. Then a video came across my desktop. It just kind of automatically came across my desktop. Someone shared it with me. It's a TV program. Last week it's a daytime talk show. A lady named, if I'm not mistaken, Fernanda Bernat. She has a daytime talk show where she interviews people about current events and different subjects, so on. And she's talking, and she has this group of people who are answering questions about their religion, but they don't tell you what their religion is, and they just say what they believe. But it's edited out, so everyone's saying basically the same thing. I believe in love. I believe in peace. And there were two different ones that said, "Oh, we believe in Jesus," and so on and so on. And then the people in the audience had to, or not the audience, the guests of the show had to try to guess what religion each one belonged to. And of course they got it wrong, because it was so ambiguous, there was no way of telling one from the other. And then, one of the guests is none other than our friend Kleber Lucas. And Kleber Lucas gets up, and the lady asks him, so Kleber, what do you think about all this? And I'm here, well, here's his chance to redeem himself. He's going to stand up and he's going to say, you know what, there is no salvation apart from Jesus. Other religions can teach things that agree with parts of Christianity, but there is no salvation apart from Jesus Christ. Neither is there any other name under heaven given among men whereby you might be saved. Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. No man comes to the Father but by him. This was his golden opportunity. He could have, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to give a testimony for the gospel right here, kind of make up for the whole candomblé thing. But he didn't. He gets up and he says, well, that's absolutely right. Basically, all the same. Have all the same message. And we need to emphasize the parts that are similar and not the parts that separate us. It's no wonder that Brazilian evangelicalism is in the theological crisis that it's in, if that is the kind of testimony that's given by public Christians. And lest we Americans get on our high horses, it was just a little while ago, I believe I saw on the program called The View, also video. I don't even have a TV, so people send me these videos. And the program called The View, and a pastor, well-known pastor in New York, he was asked what they think about abortion, and he could not come up with a clear answer condemning abortion. And he could not come up with a clear answer. Well, we just try to love people where they're at. Come on. It's not a hard question. It really is not a hard question. But we are so intent on being accepted by the world, accepted by the pagans around us. Our obsession with acceptance has made us dilute our message to the point where it's unrecognizable. And that's where we are in the U.S., I believe, and that's where we really are here. So pray for us. Pray that God would raise up leaders. Pray that God would raise up young men and women who understand the Bible and who are willing and able to express their faith, and that they'll be used mightily of God here in Brazil. That's basically what I have. A couple. Let's see. I already put the musical interlude of our group playing Pixinguinha's song. Carinhoso is the name of the song. I'm also going to put up here, just as a reminder, and Christmas time is coming up, and so for the reader in your life, someone who likes to read and wants to read something maybe different, something like they have never read before, I just put the link up there. We have two books that I have written, Missionary Max and the Jungle Princess and Missionary Max and the Lost City, and those are available on Amazon as a Kindle and also a Kindle version, which is $9.99, and I'm sorry, let me try that again. The Kindle version is the first book is $5.49, and then the second book is $5.01. The print version of both books is $9.99, and so you can order those on Amazon.com. Anywhere books are sold on Amazon, you can get those. And enjoy. And if you read it, and let me just throw this out there, if you read it or if you have read it and you enjoyed it, I would ask that you take maybe 2 minutes and go on Amazon on that link I put down there and just write a fun little review and give it a 3, 4, 5-star rating, whatever you think it's worth. Just rate it for us and review it. And that actually helps get the word out, because once the book gets so many reviews, then Amazon starts promoting it and so on. So that'd be great. And we are working, and I am starting preliminary work on the third Missionary Max book. So that's in the works. Stay tuned. It'll be a while. It's not going to be next month. It'll be quite some time. But the process has begun. All right. Well, that is all I have today. Thank you for watching. If you just came in at the end and want to know what you missed, well, this video will be available there. I'm going to put one more link here, and that link is for our YouTube dedicated channel, where you can subscribe and you can watch this video. You'll be able to watch it in a couple days whenever I get a chance to get it uploaded, and then you'll be able to go back and watch past videos. So you'll be able to see what we have going on, what's been going on in the past, and maybe catch up a little bit as to what's going on in the ministry here. Also on YouTube or on Facebook, and you might see me on Facebook. If you're on Facebook tomorrow and you see me going live, oh, he's live again, you'll go there, and I'll be speaking in Portuguese. That's because I've had a lot of demand by some of my Brazilian friends to do a live video in Portuguese, and so that's what I do. And I've got one scheduled for tomorrow. You'll see me going online, and you'll click on there, and it'll be in Portuguese. So that's tomorrow. We'll be doing that. If you want to train your Portuguese, or if you happen to speak Portuguese, want to tune in, more than welcome to do that. Just don't think I've lost my marbles. I'm just speaking Portuguese, which is what we do here. It's funny because I do these videos, and plenty of people watch them after. But I'm doing it, and I have one viewer when I'm doing it live. It tells me how many viewers, and there'll be 1, 3, 5, sometimes 10. When I'm doing it here in Portuguese for Brazilians, the count goes up 10, 20, 30. It's great, and people are commenting, and it's great to see. Brazilians are very social people, so there's a lot more action on the Brazilian side of things when I do the Brazilian one. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. It'll be on there. You can catch us again, and we'll see you next Monday, Lord willing, right back here with another Missionary Monday Live. Goodbye. God bless.